The large meeting room was full of strange beings from all over the galaxy. Jiho stood in the middle of the room. He was the only human there. Around him, creatures with different shapes and colors whispered to each other. Some had many arms. Others looked like they were made of light. A few looked like giant insects. They all stared at Jiho with anger in their eyes. Jiho kept his face calm. He wore a simple black suit. His hands were behind his back. He looked straight ahead and waited. The room grew quiet. Then a large creature stood up. It had a hard shell and 6 legs. Its mouth had sharp parts that moved when it talked. This was Thexvar. He was the leader of the Voskan Empire. His voice came through a machine that made his words sound like human speech. Human, Thexvar said. His voice was full of hate. You should not be here. You should be in prison. Your people are monsters. You killed thousands of my warriors. Jiho did not move. He did not look scared. The other beings in the room made angry sounds. Some hit their hands or claws on their desks. Others flashed lights from their bodies. They all agreed with Thexvar. A woman with blue skin that glowed like the ocean spoke next. Her name was Mira. She was from a planet covered in water. Her voice was soft, but everyone could hear it. 3 battle fleets, Mira said slowly. 300 ships. All gone, destroyed. You need to tell us how this happened. Jiho took a deep breath. Then he spoke. His voice was steady and clear. 6 months ago, the Voskan Empire attacked us. They came to our colony world called New Sol. They did not talk to us first. They did not give us a warning. They just started shooting. 2 million people died. Most of them were families, children, old people. They had no weapons. They could not fight back. Thexvar made a loud noise. It sounded like anger. That colony was in our space. He shouted. You humans took land that belonged to us. No, Jiho said. He spoke louder now. That is a lie. This council gave that planet to humans 30 years ago. Everyone here knows this. You attacked us because you wanted our land. You did not care about the law. The room became very quiet. Everyone looked at Thexvar. Some of the other beings nodded their heads. They knew Jiho was telling the truth. Thexvar's shell turned a darker color. This meant he was very angry. Fine, he said. We destroyed 1 colony, but you destroyed 3 of our best fleets. You killed hundreds of thousands of Voskan soldiers, our strongest warriors, our best ships. How did you do this? Humans are weak. You just started traveling in space. You should not be able to beat us, Jiho smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knows a secret. You attacked humans, Jiho said. What did you think would happen? The room exploded with noise. Every being started talking at once. Some shouted. Others made strange sounds. A few flashed angry colors. They could not believe what they just heard. An old human woman stood up. Her name was Hyun. She had gray hair and wrinkles on her face. But her eyes were sharp and intelligent. She was the leader of this council. Everyone respected her. Quiet, Hyun said. Her voice was not loud, but everyone stopped talking. We will have order here. She looked at Jiho. Her face was serious. Ambassador Jiho, you will explain everything. This council needs to know the truth. How did humans beat the Voskan Empire? They have the strongest army in 3 sectors of space. You have only 40 warships. They had 300. The math does not work. Jiho touched a button on his wrist. A picture appeared in the air above everyone's heads. It showed the destroyed Voskan ships, the pieces of metal floating in space, the broken weapons. Some of the beings in the room looked away. They did not want to see it. After New Sol died, Jiho said, the Voskan Empire sent more ships. They wanted to kill all humans in space. They said they would find every human colony and destroy it. They wanted to make humans extinct. Gone forever. He changed the picture. Now it showed a map of space with 3 red arrows. 3 fleets came to finish what they started. Each fleet had 100 ships. Big ships. Strong ships. Ships with powerful weapons and thick armor. They thought we would give up. They thought we would be too scared to fight. Mira leaned forward. Her blue skin glowed brighter. But you did not give up, she said. No, Jiho said. We did not. We could not. If we gave up, humans would die. All of us, our children, our future. Everything would be gone. So we fought back. A being made of crystal spoke. Her name was Dayun. Her voice sounded like bells ringing. This makes no sense. The Voskan fleets had 15 super-large ships. The biggest warships in the galaxy. Your people had only 12 small ships at the first battle. How did 12 ships beat 100? It is impossible. Jiho pressed another button. The picture changed again. Now it showed a battle. The Voskin ships moved forward in perfect lines. They looked powerful and confident. Then the human ships appeared. The human ships moved in strange ways. They did not fly in straight lines. They twisted and turned. They flew between asteroids and space rocks. They moved so fast it was hard to follow them with eyes. "What are they doing?" Mira whispered. She watched the picture with wide eyes. The human ships split into 3 groups. Each group flew in a different direction. The Voskin ships tried to shoot them, but the humans were too fast. They dodged every shot. They flew through spaces that should have been too small. They made turns that should have crushed the pilots inside. Then the human ships started shooting back. Every shot hit exactly where it needed to. They aimed at weak spots on the Voskin ships, places where the armor was thin, places where important systems were located. Ship after ship started to break apart. "Impossible," Thexvar said again. "No living thing can fly like that. No one can react that fast. Your pilots would die from the speed and the turns." Jiho stopped the picture. He looked around the room at all the different beings. "You are right," he said. "Normal pilots cannot do this. But human pilots are not normal. Not anymore." The room went very quiet. Everyone waited to hear what Jiho would say next. "Humans have changed ourselves," Jiho said. "We have computers in our brains, not separate computers that control us. Computers that are part of us. They help us think faster. They help us see more. They help us calculate things that would take hours in just 1 second." Many beings in the room made shocked sounds. Some stood up. Others backed away from Jiho like he was dangerous. "You put machines in your heads?" Daeun asked. Her crystal body flashed red. "That is wrong. That is not natural." "Maybe," Jiho said. "But it kept us alive. It let us protect our families. And it worked." The council could only gaze in shock at what they had just learned. Humans were no longer just humans. They were something new, something powerful, something that could fight back. The pictures in the air changed again. Now they showed tiny machines, so small that millions of them could fit on the tip of a finger. They looked like little metal insects with many legs and sharp tools. Jiho pointed at the pictures. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed worry. "These are nanomachines," he said. "Machines so small you cannot see them with normal eyes. They are smaller than a grain of sand, smaller than a cell in your body, but they are very powerful." Daeun leaned forward to see better. Her crystal body was flashing red and orange, colors that meant fear. "What do these machines do?" she asked. Jiho took a deep breath. "They replicate. That means they make copies of themselves. 1 nanomachine becomes 2. 2 become 4. 4 become 8. They grow in number very fast. And they use whatever materials they find to make more copies." The room went silent. Every being there understood what this meant. It was one of the most dangerous technologies in the galaxy, something that most species had banned long ago. Minho stood up. The plant-like being was shaking. His leaves rustled with anger. "You used gray goo," he shouted. "You deployed the weapon that can destroy entire planets. How could you be so reckless, so stupid? Do you know what happens if those machines get out of control?" "Yes," Jiho said. We know. We have studied this technology for 40 years. We built in safety measures, multiple layers of protection. The nanomachines have strict programming." He changed the picture to show a diagram with many safety systems. First, the nanomachines only work on Voskin military technology. They were programmed to recognize Voskin metal and Voskin energy signatures. They would not attack human ships or any other species. Second, each nanomachine has a built-in timer. After 48 hours, they stop working. They self-destruct. They turn into harmless dust. Nothing can make them keep working past that time. Third, they need a special activation code. This code is locked to human DNA. Only a human can turn them on, and only specific humans who have the right security clearance. Mira was listening carefully. Her blue skin had returned to its normal color. "You said they replicate," she said. "How fast?" Jiho showed another picture. This one showed the timeline of how the nanomachines worked. "Very fast. When our ships fired the first weapons at the Voskin fleet, some of those weapons contained nanomachine packages, millions of nanomachines hidden inside normal missiles. When the missiles hit the Voskin shields, they created small cracks. The nanomachines flew through those cracks. Once inside a Voskin ship, the nanomachines started replicating. They used the ship's own metal to make copies of themselves. In 1 hour, 1,000,000 nanomachines became 1,000,000,000. In 2 hours, they were everywhere inside the ship. Thexvar was staring at the pictures. His shell had turned almost black with horror. "What did they do to our ships?" he asked quietly. Jiho met his eyes. There was no joy in his face. "Only sadness. They ate them," he said. "The nanomachines broke down the ship's systems. They took apart the engines. They destroyed the weapons. They cut through the power cables. Within hours, your mighty warships became floating pieces of scrap metal." He showed more pictures of what the nanomachines had done. Voskan ships with huge holes in their hulls, engines that had been reduced to powder, weapon systems that looked like they had been dissolved. "Your crews tried to fight back," Jiho continued. "They tried everything. They used fire, they used electricity. They tried to vent the nanomachines into space. But nothing worked. The machines were too small and too many. Most of your warriors survived," he added. "The nanomachines were not programmed to hurt living beings. Only ships and weapons. Your people escaped in life pods. We picked them up and sent them home." A being that looked like it was made of light spoke. Her name was Nari. She was from a dimension that most beings could not even understand. "You say the nanomachines stopped after 48 hours, Nari said. "How can we be sure? How do we know they are not still out there floating in space waiting to attack again?" Jiho pulled up test results. Pages and pages of scientific data. "We sent research teams to all 3 battle sites. They collected samples. They tested everything. The nanomachines are gone. Dead. Broken down into harmless carbon and silicon. They cannot come back. It is impossible." Hyun was reading the data carefully. She had been a scientist before she became a political leader. She understood what she was seeing. "The data looks genuine," she said, "but the principle remains dangerous. One mistake, one mutation in the programming, and these machines could become unstoppable. They could consume everything." "Yes," Jiho agreed. "That is why we built so many safety measures. That is why we spent 40 years testing and perfecting the technology. We knew how dangerous it was. We were terrified of it." His voice grew harder. "But we were more terrified of extinction. When the Voskans destroyed New Sol, when they promised to hunt us to the last human, we had to choose. Die as a species or use the weapon we hoped we would never need." Boram spoke for the first time. She was from the Hive Collective, a species that worked as one mind in many bodies. "This council banned self-replicating weapons 5,000 years ago," she said. "After the war of the consuming machines, entire star systems died. Billions of beings were killed. Their planets were eaten down to the core. We swore such weapons would never be used again." "I know the history," Jiho said. "Every human knows it. We learned about it in school. But that war happened because no one had proper safety measures. The machines that caused that disaster had no timers, no DNA locks, no targeting restrictions. They were true gray goo, consuming everything they touched. Our nanomachines are different. They are controlled, limited, safe." "Safe?" Minyo shouted. "You destroyed 300 warships. How is that safe?" Jiho turned to face him. His patience was running out. "Those 300 warships came to exterminate my species. They came to kill every human child, every human mother and father, every human elder. They declared a war of genocide. What should we have done? Lie down and die?" The room fell silent again. When Jiho spoke next, his voice was quieter but filled with emotion. "You all sit here in your council chamber and make rules. Rules about what weapons are acceptable. Rules about how wars should be fought. But none of you have faced extinction. None of you have had to choose between breaking the rules and watching your entire species die. We made that choice. We broke your rules. And yes, we used a weapon you find terrifying. But we are still alive. Humans still exist. And the Voskan Empire learned an important lesson." He looked directly at Thexvar. "Do not attack humans unless you are prepared to pay the price." Thexvar stared back at him. For a long time, neither spoke. Then the Voskan leader slowly sat down. His anger was still there, but something else was there too. Something that might have been respect or fear, or both. The council now understood the full truth. Humans had not just won 3 battles. They had shown the galaxy what they were capable of when pushed to the edge, and that knowledge changed everything. The council chamber slowly emptied. Beings from dozens of different worlds left through various exits. Some walked on legs. Others floated. A few teleported away in flashes of light. They all talked quietly among themselves about what they had just witnessed. Jiho stood alone in the center of the room for a moment. He felt tired, The meeting had lasted many hours. His body ached from standing still for so long, but he also felt relieved. Humanity had survived this trial. They would keep their place in the council. They would be protected. As he gathered his things, Mira approached him. The blue-skinned woman moved gracefully like water flowing. "That was well done, Ambassador," she said quietly. "You played this perfectly. You gave them just enough to make them feel they won, but you did not actually surrender anything important." Jiho looked at her carefully. He was not sure if she was praising him or criticizing him. "I meant every word I said, Counselor Mira. Humanity truly does want peace. We truly do want to work with the other species in this galaxy, but we will never be defenseless again. That is not negotiable." Mira studied his face for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I believe you," she said, "and I think that is what frightens everyone. You are sincere about peace, but you are also sincere about your willingness to use terrible weapons if threatened. That combination makes you very dangerous." "Good," Jiho said simply. "It is better to be feared and left alone than to be pitied and attacked." Mira smiled slightly. It was a sad smile, perhaps, but fear makes for cold relationships. The Delphinian Collective would prefer to be your friend rather than your afraid neighbor. "Then be our friend," Jiho said. "We would welcome it. Humanity has no desire to stand alone. We just refuse to stand helpless." Mira considered this. Then she extended her hand. It was a human gesture. She had learned it just for this moment. "Friends, then," she said. "The Delphinian Collective will work with humanity. We will support your position in the council, and we will trust that you will use your power wisely." Jiho shook her hand. Her skin felt cool and smooth like touching water. "Thank you, Counselor. That means more than you know." As Mira walked away, another figure approached. Texvar, the Voskan leader, moved slowly, his 6 legs making clicking sounds on the floor. His shell was still that dull gray color of defeat. Jiho tensed. He was not sure what to expect. Would Texvar attack him? Challenge him? Threaten revenge? But Texvar did none of those things. Instead, he stopped a few steps away and looked at Jiho with his many compound eyes. "You won today, human," Texvar said. His voice was quiet. All the anger was gone. "You defeated us in battle. You defeated us in politics. You defeated us completely." Jiho said nothing. He waited to hear what else Texvar would say. "I thought humans were weak," Texvar continued. "I thought you were soft, easy to crush. I was wrong. I underestimated you. That was my mistake. My empire will pay for my mistake for many years." He paused, then added, "But fear is a poor foundation for peace. You may have won today, but you have also made many beings afraid of you." "Afraid beings do desperate things," Jiho nodded slowly. He understood the warning. "You are right, Counselor. Fear is not enough. That is why we also offer friendship, partnership. We want to work with the other species, not dominate them. We want to share our technology for defense, not keep it all for ourselves." He looked directly at Texvar. "But you need to understand something. The lesson of today is not that humans are cruel. The lesson is that humans are survivors. We have survived ice ages and plagues and wars on our own planet. We have survived when other species would have given up and died. That is what makes us dangerous, not our weapons, our will to live." Texvar was quiet for a moment. Then he made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sigh. "I understand," he said. "Perhaps next time my empire will think twice before attacking humans." "There should not be a next time," Jiho said firmly. "Today should be the end of hostilities between our species. Let us start fresh. Let us build something better than war." Texvar tilted his head, considering. Then he nodded, perhaps. "Time will tell. But know this, human. My people will not forget what happened. We will not forget our defeat. Whether that memory leads to hatred or respect depends on what comes next." With that, Texvar turned and walked away. Jiho watched him go. The conversation had not ended in friendship, but it had not ended in threats either. That was something. A beginning, perhaps. Finally, Hyan approached. The old human woman looked even more tired than Jiho felt. But there was satisfaction in her eyes. "You did well, Ambassador," she said. "Better than I expected, honestly. You walked a very difficult line today." "Thank you, Chair Hyan. I had good guidance. And I had the truth on my side. That helped." Hyan smiled. "The truth helps, but it is not always enough. You also had skill and courage. You stood here alone, facing the anger of dozens of species, and you did not back down. You defended humanity without losing your dignity. That is rare. She put her hand on his shoulder. But remember, Jiho, today was just the beginning. The real work starts now. We must honor our promises. We must submit to inspections. We must share our technology carefully and wisely. We must prove that humans can be trusted with the power we have claimed. I know, Jiho said. I understand the responsibility we have accepted. Humanity will not fail. We cannot afford to. Hyun nodded. Good. Then go home, Ambassador. Rest, you have earned it. And when you return to Earth, tell our people what happened here. Tell them that we survived. Tell them that we are safe. Tell them that humanity has a future in this galaxy. Jiho bowed slightly. Showing respect to the elder woman, I will, Chair Hyun. Thank you for your support. As he left the council chamber, Jiho thought about what had happened. 6 months ago, New Seoul had burned. 2 million people had died. The Voskan Empire had declared war on humanity, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had learned a hard lesson. Humans were not easy prey. Humans fought back. And when humans fought, they fought to win. But the cost had been high. Thousands of Voskan warriors had died. 300 of their ships had been destroyed. And humanity had been forced to use weapons that terrified even themselves. Was it worth it? Jiho asked himself. Was survival worth becoming something feared across the galaxy? He thought about the children on Earth, the families who would grow up safe because of what had happened here, the colonies that would not be attacked because other species now knew the price of aggression. Yes, he decided, it was worth it. Not because war was good, not because weapons were desirable, but because existence was precious, because humanity deserved to survive, because giving up was never an option. The galaxy had asked a question today, not in words but in actions and reactions and shocked faces. The question was simple. You attacked humans? And the answer, delivered in burning ships and broken fleets and stunned silence, was equally simple. Yes. And this is what happens when you do. Some species would learn from that answer. They would treat humanity with respect. They would seek friendship and partnership. They would remember that peace was always better than war. Other species would resent it. They would fear human power. They would plot and plan, looking for weaknesses to exploit. They would remember only their fear. But all of them would remember. That was what mattered. Every species in the galaxy now knew. Humans could be friends or enemies. The choice was theirs to make. But if they chose war, they would lose. Not because humans were cruel, but because humans refused to lose. Jiho walked down the long corridor toward the shuttle bay. His ship waited there, ready to take him home. Home to Earth. Home to report on what had happened. Home to begin the next chapter of humanity's story in the stars. Behind him, the council chamber stood empty. But the echoes of what had happened there would spread across the galaxy. They would reach every world, every species, every civilization, and they would all learn the same lesson. Do not attack humans. Because humans fight back. And when humans fight, the galaxy itself pays attention.